With the announcement of all the new Games Workshop models that came out, it kind of got me thinking about my old Warhammer 40k army. And I started wondering, why hadn't I painted it? And then I remembered, I really don't care. Okay? And I know that sounds terrible, but I feel like I've got a good reason for it. So let's talk about it. Now, I want to start off by saying that there's nothing wrong with 40k. Like, there are lots of really good things about it, and there are lots of really cool models inside of 40k. The problem that I have is that in an army of 100 units, there might be 3 or 4 really cool models. And you know what I mean? I mean, when you look at like combat patrols, they used to have these cool centerpiece models, and they don't anymore. Like, they're getting rid of them. Like, they're making it worse. as horrible as that sounds. There are still some good ones out there, and there's still things out there that are interesting. But for me, as a hobby painter primarily, that causes a problem. I don't want to play a game where 80% of the work is doing something I don't want to do. It's something I don't enjoy. Sure, painting a Space Marine, man, the first time, it's awesome. The second time, it's still really good. You're getting better all the time, right? The 20th time?
Why would anyone do this?
You see where I'm going with this, right? So why would you play a game where you have 2, 3, 4 like really interesting models that you want to paint when you can play a game that is filled with an entire team of models that you want to paint? And maybe you don't want to paint them. Maybe you don't want to paint 50% of them, but at least they're different and unique, and when you paint them, it's like painting them for the first time because you're painting them for the first time. And I mean, if you're buying a force for one model, I'm sure you can find a similar model in a different force. Might even be a more fun force, right? Now, as always, I'm not trying to harp on Warhammer. There are a lot of games out there like Warhammer where, you know, you have this squad and, oh, I want 4 of this squad in my army. Well, okay, you're going to have at least 4 of the same looking units, if not more than that, okay? So there's a lot of games that are out there. And Age of Sigmar, they have some really, really cool units. Like, I don't understand. Like, Age of Sigmar has 24 factions, right? And they're all different armies, and they do a really good job of not having stuff that's super repetitive. Now, granted, yes, there are some armies, those horde armies, that you're going to find repetitive stuff. But even among those repetitive things, there are cool, unique things. You know, 5, 6, 7 different unique, awesome things in these armies. And I feel like Warhammer 40k has some of those, just not very many. But maybe that's just because most of their armies are Space Marine armies. Go figure, right? Even Horus Heresy is coming out with a lot of unique, cool squads or units to go into your army because I think they've seen that it's kind of a problem. Okay? Now, they just need to roll that out to 40k. And hopefully, they will. Right? Hopefully they will. And then you can just laugh in my face and tell me how dumb I am for making this video. But that's in the future, so we'll worry about that. That's future Pulsegate Gaming's problem. Okay? For now, I'm going to play games like Infinity, Warcrow, Malifaux, Warmachine, where my army of 30 plus units or less, depending on what game you're playing, is full of unique characters. And they're all different, and they have names, and painting them actually means something. As primarily a painter, variety to me is the spice of life. It's what I'm looking for in my hobby. I want to paint different things, but I also want to try different things. I want to learn. I want to become a better painter. And the only way that you can be a better painter is by painting and trying new things. And so my army of 30 things, you know, maybe I tried different brush techniques or speed painting or this, that, and the other. And guess what? It doesn't matter. Because even if my units don't exactly look the same or even have the exact same colors, guess what? They're all different. So it doesn't really matter that much. And granted, I'm not going like crazy and having like a blue and pink and like way out there colors in the same unit. I'm trying to be about the same, but there's always going to be a little bit of difference. And so I like it when that doesn't matter so much. And doing it just adds a little variety, a little spice to my army. Now, you might think I'm crazy. A lot of people do. But that's okay, because I have an example. This is my example. This is Benkei and Sasha. I don't know if that's how you pronounce this one's name. Okay, Sasha, I feel like I got that. They are both cat, tiger things for Warmachine. And I painted them the same way, but I did things a little bit differently. And because of that, they look different, but it's okay. And I'm happy with it. You know, they're two different creatures. It makes sense for them to be a little different. These models are part of the new box set, the 2-army box set from Warmachine called Frozen and Forgotten, and it is amazing. Okay, like I said, 2 distinct squads from basically slavers who want to enslave everyone because it used to be that way and they want it back that way, and Dusk, which is this faction, where, you guessed it, they're elves, but they're not normal elves. They're vampire elves. And these are vampire elves that are kind of disgusted with how they used to be in the past. And so they're trying to work with humanity instead of murdering them. And it's going okay, I guess. Unique army. And this is a unique faction that goes, they were forced underground a long time ago. And so when I decided to, like, a coloring scheme, a way to paint these, I thought cats could be cool, make them white, you know, tigerish or whatever. And I thought, no, what else is underground? Hot lava. So I'm gonna make lava cats. And that's what I did. And not only that, I wanted to make them and paint them the easiest way possible. I thought I'm going to do a video where I can paint these 2 cats in, you know, an hour and show people, hey, this is an easy way to paint fur from Warmachine. Obviously, fur from every game is a little bit different, but you can do this for most fur that I've seen. And it was really quick and it was really easy. And I thought, yeah, I got to show this off. Great army that I like. I want to paint all the miniatures from it. I painted it in a new, unique way. Yes, they turned out a little bit different, but in the end, I'm happy with both of them. And I feel like all they're going to do is complement my army. And it doesn't make sense for me to paint and do all that work without showing you what I did, so you can do it in the future if you want to make your own lava cats or lava dogs or lava birds or whatever. So here's how I did it. Okay, so first things first. I wanted to do lava, and to do lava, you got to do yellows and reds and stuff like that. It's so much easier if you start on a base white coat. So that's what I did. All the areas I was going to do the lava effect on, I started with white. I tried to do it with yellow, and I tried to do it like really heavy. Did not like it. So start with white. It just makes things easier. This is the one that I started with yellow. You can see it underneath, and it was okay. But seriously, just start with white. It makes it easier. After I did my white, I started with my yellow, and the yellow that I'm using is the P3 Cygnus yellow. Okay, and I watered it down. As you can see, it's super watery because I want it to flow really heavily into those areas where, honestly, I wanted the lava to look like it was coming from the depths. And so that's what this is going to do. It's going to go on really thick, and it's going to pool in those areas, and that's exactly what I wanted it to do. Then, after I was done getting all that yellow on it, I hit it with Inferno Orange. And this is where we start dry brushing. I don't want to go into the depths of those cracks anymore. I want to do the exact opposite. I want to dry brush. And this is kind of where the technique in this comes in. the wetter the dry brush is, the deeper into the cracks it's going to go. Okay, so I wanted to do this with a little bit of a wetter dry brush because I wanted it to go deep, but I didn't want it to go all the way. And so that's exactly what I'm doing here, is I'm getting it to the point where it's still a little bit wet. And the next layer, obviously, I'm going to try and do drier. Now the units are starting to look like they're on fire, so let's hit them with a little bit of that K-Door red. And like I said before, we are going to try and do this a little bit lighter or drier on the dry brush. So again, so it's not going as deep as the orange, and it does like this nice transition of yellow, orange to red. Okay, and so that was the goal with this. And this is the step where when I was done, I was just like, man, this thing is really coming together. Now, coal black. This is where things started to go south for me. I have two units, right? And there's one that I absolutely love and one that I'm just kind of like, it's okay. And the reason for that is simple. This first one that I did right here, the coal black is very, very dry. It's just hitting the beginnings of, the very top layers. I did it very dry, and honestly, I love how this one turned out. It was my favorite. It's my favorite by far. Okay. And that's because the black was barely there, and then I could go in afterwards and touch it up, which you'll see too. But that brightness from underneath is just so apparent. Whereas with the second unit, you'll see as well, I did it and the wet brush was just, the dry brush was just too wet. And so it went too deep into the holes, and I did not like how it ended up looking. But that's okay. I still like them both. I just prefer this one more because the colors are brighter and I like that. And like I said, after I had done all the dry brushing, I thought, well, it's supposed to look like black stone on top of this. The dry brush didn't get that solid black in there like I wanted. So I just went back in with the same black, coal black, just on a brush, and started hitting all of those highest points and just kind of making the things darker that I wanted to be darker. And ultimately, like I said, I'm very happy with how these turned out. And it was so fast. Like, if you're going to paint something with fur like this, oh man, give it a shot. It's amazing. You can work from darks to lights. You can work from lights to darks like this. Either way, works great. Then with the fur done, it was just time to move on to the trim, the armor that this thing wears. And I wanted to do a metallic, but I wanted to do like a tan metallic. So I just combined my boiler black and my jack bone together to make a nice tan metallic looking material. And I was happy with it. I went back afterwards and hit it with boiler black again, just to make it sure it had those metal flecks in it, and it did reflect really well. And I was super happy with that. And then the last color combination that I did together was the Iosin green and the coal black. I wanted a really like deep, dark green. These guys are underground, right? So I wanted deep, dark green to be their colors with that nice like beige, metallic beige and things like that. And so like this army faction, that will be their colors, like skeleton bone white and this really dark like regal green. And so I was super pleased with how it came out and the color that it looked. And I did a nice like transition between the two colors, right? So a little bit lighter on the raised surfaces and then darker in the shadow areas. And the coal black just works really well because the coal black's almost like a bluish black. And so it just worked really well on this. And that was it. I added a couple finishing touches, some brown leather straps, and I did the eyes and the insignia on the head, and I was done. 2 good sized units in about an hour and a half. Not too shabby in my book. And in the end, this is how they turned out. I had a blast painting these. Yeah, I screwed up. Yeah, I made some mistakes along the way. But I enjoyed painting them. Okay? And that's not even the best part. The best part is the unit that I wanted to paint the most, I haven't even painted. And it's the lady who commands these 2 lava cats. And like I said, undead, vampire, elf. Right? So I'm going to paint her up, and then we'll put them together, and I'll have the beginnings of an army that I really like all the characters of. And for me, that's what makes this hobby a hobby. Remember, a hobby is something you do to relax or have fun. It's not something you do that's just work. Okay? So, do you play 40K and it's a hobby for you? Like, do you enjoy it? And if so, why do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy painting the same things over and over again? Or do you have an army that's just not that way? Like, seriously, I want to know. 40K is the biggest tabletop game out there. Hands down. Like, it's not a competition. Are other games getting bigger? Yeah, of course. All the games that I mentioned in this are doing better. They're getting bigger. But they're still not even close to 40K. So I would love to know why you play 40K. What makes it enjoyable for you, especially the hobby side. Okay? And if you're not, what is your game? What is your game that is a super just fun hobby for you? And what makes it that way? I'm all up for people loving the game because they love to play it. I get that. I get that I am a borderline psychopath because I just like to paint them and look at them and be like, oh, okay. But I would love to know why you like it. Like what part of the hobby makes it great for you? And I'm not talking about how it's like, oh, my friends play it. Like, what makes it good for you? Please put that in the comments below. And as always, if you liked this video, please like, subscribe. The YouTube algorithm, I don't know what's going on with it. It's crazy. I'm doing my best. And I'll keep putting content out and hoping that I figure it out somewhere along the road. But yeah, stick around. We're going to keep painting stuff. We're going to keep painting Warmachine. Like I said, I'm going to buy some Age of Sigmar stuff, hopefully relatively soon. And so I'll start painting some Age of Sigmar. And who knows, maybe one day I will actually paint that Warhammer army and see if I can figure out why the madness is so addicting. And maybe I'll get addicted to it too. Who knows? But anyway, as always, don't spend so much time building your world that you forget to spend some time in it. Enjoy your hobby. Until next time.